we will lie down. Excuse me, apologize. Just let your eyes close here. Let yourself get comfortable. Wiggle around, shift, move. You may keep your legs bent. You can straighten your legs. You can support your knees. And then once you find that comfortable position, you are going to take those 3 cleansing breaths. So 3 times, bringing it in through the nose, opening the mouth and sighing through the mouth. And just know I always start with the 3 sighs. I feel like it's a nice release, but you don't have to stop at 3. If you're ever at a point in class where you feel like you want to take a sigh or 10, right, do that. It's okay. When you are ready, you'll let your breath come in and out just through your nose. Slowly in, slowly out. Maybe noticing which nostril is more dominant, taking in more air at the moment. And also noticing where you feel the breath as you breathe out. And some of us will feel the breath touching our upper lip. Some of us will feel it most predominantly in the nostrils. But just observing that and using this as an opportunity to bring your attention inward. Possibly taking a moment to set an intention for the class, for the day, for the week. Very nice. And then you can keep your eyes closed. You can open them if you like, but we're starting out bringing those knees in towards the chest and just giving a nice gentle rock side to side. First movement of class today. It doesn't have to be a big rock. I'm just trying to get a little bit of that movement in the low back. And then starting to let those knees roll in circles. Right? So if you want this to be a little more core focused, a little more challenging, you can place your hands down onto the floor. If you want it even more challenging, you might try making your circle a little bit larger. And also at the same time, noting that it's okay to keep your hands on the knees as well if you want this to be a little more relaxing. A little something for everyone. Go ahead and reverse that circle now, opposite direction. Very good. All right. You're placing both of your feet down onto the floor now. Knees are going to be bent. We're just going to do these heel slides. Okay. So start with the right leg and you're going to flex your foot and you're just going to kind of slide the heel away so that the right leg straightens. And then you're going to gently slide that heel back. And we're going to stay on this right side. And the slower you do this, the better. Right. So try not to be flinging the leg straight and bent. Just nice and slow so that you can feel this very slight engagement in the abdominals, kind of the obliques, which is the side of the abdominals. A little in the hip flexor too. And, the next time that right knee bends, you're going to keep it bent. Place the foot back onto the mat, switch sides. So now the left heel is flexed and you're just pushing that heel away and then you're sliding it back to that starting position. Nice and slow. Slower the better. Just noticing where you feel the engagement. Where is it for you in your body? Good. One more here. And so this next time that the left knee bends, keep it there. Make sure your feet are about hip distance apart here. And I believe most of you were here the other week when we did those pelvic clocks. All right. And we're going to do a little bit of just the pelvic rocking and pelvic clocks right now. So if you can imagine that your belly button is 12 o'clock on a clock and your pubic bone is 6 o'clock on a clock, you are going to rock just from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock, right? So essentially, you're arching your low back and then you're pressing your low back down to the floor. You're arching and then you're pressing it down. Good. Another visual, another way to say it, because we all hear things differently, is to press your tailbone down towards the floor as you arch the back and then lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling as the back comes flat. All right, so when you're moving towards that 12 o'clock and the back is coming flat, really focus on the abdominals pressing towards the floor. Okay, think of the front of the body moving towards the back of the body. Good. And then we're going to find neutral. You know, we're all about neutral. Okay. So now the hip points, those bony points of the pelvis, are 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Okay. And you're just going to just move a little bit side to side, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Right. So you kind of are going to stay with the tailbone lifted and the low back pressing down. You're just almost rocking side to side on that sacrum. It's not a big movement. You're going to find that your knees are going to sway a little bit. All good. But what the focus is still is on that kind of lower abdominal area called the transverse abdominis. Helps us with our posture. It helps us with our back pain when that muscle is nice and strong. All right, find neutral again. So you're going to find that the back will arch just a bit. And now we're going to do all together. So we're going to go clockwise. If that's hard for you to think about, just go one direction because we'll go the other direction as well. So start by going 12 o'clock. So you press the abdominals in, move it to 3, move it to 6, arch the back, move it to 9, and back to 12. And right, just kind of notice maybe where this feels really fluid. And also notice where maybe this feels a little stuck. Okay. slow down through the spaces that feel a little stuck, a little less fluid. Slow those down. Awesome. And then next time you come to 12 o'clock, you're just going to reverse it, right? You're going to go the opposite direction, counterclockwise. So 12 to 9 to 6 to 3, back to 12. And it's the same thing. So where it feels really fluid and easy, right? The body's already got that part figured out. But there's parts of this circle that feel restricted, that don't feel as fluid. I want you to slow down in that area, right? So first we become aware of it. And then once we have that awareness, then we're able to slow it down and let that energy move through. Right? I know that for me personally, the space where I feel a little stuck, when I slow down through there, I feel a release in my back in a place where I'm always very tight. Good. We're going to do one more circle. We're almost done with these little pelvic clocks, pelvic work. And then you'll come back into neutral. So I know I spent a lot of time on that, but it is so helpful when you're sitting, when you're standing, to know the orientation of your pelvis, and the floor gives you amazing feedback. All righty. So you are going to go to that 12 o'clock, right? Let the low back press down very gently. And then take that right heel, straighten that right leg again. So you can come back to those heel slides. If you want more challenge, then as that right leg bends, right, you're going to lift the knee up, draw it towards the chest, place it back to the floor, then slide that heel away. You'll lift the leg as the bent knee bends to the chest, and then you place it back to the floor. If that feels like it's too much, then I want you to go back to those heel slides that we were doing before. Right? But again, it's slow. I want you to feel the muscles that are working here. Nice and slow. Yeah, let's do one more. Wherever you are. Next time that right knee bends, just place that foot onto the floor. We'll go to the other side. So slide in the left leg away, the heel away. And then bending the knee, bringing it back in. Again, if you want a little more challenge, right, then you're lifting that left leg up as the knee draws into the chest. And that'll just give you a little more challenge on those obliques. Good. Let's do one more. Awesome. Place that left foot down. All righty. So your feet about mat distance apart, so a little wider than your hips here. You're going to flex those feet. We'll just get a little twist in, right? So you're going to windshield wiper those knees side to side. Right, one alignment cue that I always like to provide here is if you want a little deeper stretch, right? You're taking whichever knee is on the top and you're pushing it away from your body. You're letting that buttock come up off the mat. You're getting that nice stretch in the front of that quad, that hip flexor. Right? If you don't want that stretch, you're just dropping your knees side to side and you're getting that really good twist in the lower part of the spine. Beautiful. All righty. Come back to center. You're going to draw that low back down again. So again, think moving to 12 o'clock here in the pelvis. Lift your legs up into basically like tabletop if you were not on your back. Okay. And then your arms are going to reach straight up to the ceiling, right? So if we have any arm restrictions going on today, you can do just the legs with this and you don't have to do the arm part. Okay. All right, so you're going to straighten your right leg and you're going to reach your left arm up over your head by your ear. And then you're going to bring it back to center. Okay. And then you'll go to the other side. The left leg straightens, the right arm reaches over. So it's opposite arm, opposite leg. And then you bring it back to center. Okay. One thing to note is as the limbs are moving, right, your back is going to want to arch, right? Because that transverse abdominis, that really important muscle for our posture, for our back strength, it doesn't want to engage, right? So keep thinking 12 o'clock in the pelvis, even as the arm reaches above the head or the leg straightens, 12 o'clock in the pelvis. You've got it. This is a wonderful exercise to do. It's very similar to when we do spinal balance, when we are in tabletop. And so right now we're working the front of the body, and what that does is that works the back of the body. Good. Let's do one more each side. Beautiful. Go ahead and take everything back down. And then one more time, just a little rock side to side with the knees. So in a moment, we're going to come up to sitting. Just keep rocking your knees right now as I chit chat. So you can come up to sitting like you typically would, kind of roll to your side and come up. Or if you want to do the roll like a ball. In yoga, we call it a spinal rock. In Pilates, they call it rolling like a ball. It's the same thing. Then you can do that. That's going to work your core a little bit more. If you do the rolling like a ball, then when you come up, you're going to try not to let your toes touch, right? So that was a lot to say. I didn't want to say it when you guys were actually doing the spinal rock. So now go ahead and pick your choice of how you're going to come up to sit. So if you are rolling like a ball, you're going to put your arms around your shins or around your knees. You're going to lift your head towards the knees, and you're just going to start to rock a little bit, right? And so the first time you come up, your toes might touch, or you might not come all the way up, right? That's fine. But then you start to get the rhythm. You're going to try to come up and not let the toes touch. Right? Sometimes easier said than done, right? So if you're rolling like a ball, let's do one more roll and then we'll all make our way to sit. Very nice. Awesome. Wonderful, wonderful. I'll give everyone that time to get up. Please grab some water if you'd like to grab some water. We're only about 20 minutes in, but about time for a little water break or tea or whatever you have in your cup. The cup smells like coffee, but there's water in there. It's weird. All right. Oh, looks like everybody's up from what I can see. All righty. So you are going to, I'm just doing this sideways, it's easier for you to see me. You're going to place your hands just kind of behind you, right? It doesn't really matter to me if your fingers are forward or out to the side or back right now, just so that you feel like you can lean back a little bit and be supported. You're going to point your right toes. You got a little foot cramp, so if you get a little foot cramp, just spread the toes out a little bit. You're going to point those right toes, and then you're just going to see, can you lift the foot any amount and then bring it back down. And you're going to point the left toes and then you're going to see, can I lift my foot any amount and then bring it back? Doesn't have to be a big lift. It might just be a millimeter off the floor and you're working on getting that strength, or you might lift it up a little bit higher. And you're just going to go side to side with this. Okay. If you feel like maybe you can lift it so that your shin is parallel to the floor, that's an option for you. It's a little more challenging. You'll start to feel this also a little bit in the upper thigh, front of the thigh. Totally normal. Good. So now wherever you got up to, I want you to stay there and just hold it for a minute. Just hold it. Good. And then kind of turn your knee out to the side and then bring it back to center. And turn your knee out to the side and bring it back to center. And do that one more time. Knee out to the side, turn it back to center, drop that leg back to the floor. Beautiful. Left side. So you're bringing it up to whatever point you want to bring it up to. You're going to hold it there for a minute. Keep the chest nice and lifted. And then again, turn the knee out to the side and then back to center. Good. Bring it to the side. Awesome. Back to center. And one more time, bring it out to the side. Good. Bring it back to center and then take it all the way down. Alrighty, so grab around your shins here. Good. Kind of lean back a little bit. Come to your tippy toes. For this, for me at least, I have to hold onto my legs pretty good. You're going to come onto your tippy toes, and then maybe you lift the toes off of the mat a little bit. This is not something where you're trying to lift the toes or the legs really high, but you're trying to literally just balance on the pelvis, right? So the toes, if you need it for balance, keep them down. If you don't, lift them up just a bit. Let the shoulders drop and take a few deep breaths. If it feels really easy for you, another option is to maybe close your eyes while you take those deep, slow breaths. Reconnect. Very good. Go ahead and place the toes and the feet back down if they're not already there. Now you're going to grab behind your thighs. Okay. Again, it's a pretty decent grab, right? Your arms are pretty engaged here. And then you're going to lift that right leg, hold it. If you want to, you can lift the left leg. Think about maybe squeezing the knees towards one another. Keep that chest nice and high. If both legs are not going to be lifted for you, then you can work on just going side to side, lifting the right and lifting the left. Otherwise, both legs are up, chest is nice and high. Great exercise for the back of the body. And then if this feels really easy, maybe you loosen your grip a little bit on your legs and you will feel how everything turns on, right? So our core is our back as well as our front and our sides and our diagonals. Good. Slowly release that and just come right into a bound angle pose. So knees are nice and wide, right? Soles, the feet are touching. This feels challenging. So a lot of times when we have really tight hips, we'll find that our knees are like way up here. You can sit on a pillow that takes some of that pressure away, or bolster, or you can also bring your feet further away from your body, right? So sitting on a pillow or a bolster is usually great, 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 great release because you can get into those inner thighs a little bit better. All right, so grab your toes or grab your shins wherever you are and try to get your chest nice and lifted up. Good. So when I cue to lift your chest, what's really happening is I'm making you engage your back, right? So you can almost think of taking the muscles of the back body and pressing them in towards the front body. And that will help the chest lift and shoulders drop. And then you're having to use some of those back muscles. And you breathe. Good. If this feels easy, you might reach your arms up in front of you. And that just makes you turn on those back muscles a little bit more. So if you do that and you think, I don't know if I like that, then you can place your hands back down. Right? That's the beauty of it. And if your arms are lifted, go ahead and drop them and come into just a cross leg position. And we're going to come into a little bit of a forward fold here. So you're going to bring the chest forward. You can place your hands on the floor, right? You can walk your hands away. You can let your head drop. Very much okay to round your back here. More of a release. Good. You're going to walk your hands or your torso over to the right a little bit. So if they're not on the floor, maybe your hands are resting on your right thigh or your right knee. I'm just trying to get a little stretch in this left side body. Let the head drop. Take some deep breaths in the left side body. And then bringing yourself back to the center. And then, of course, coming on over to the left. So you're getting that little bit of a stretch in the right side body now. Let the head drop. So breathing into your right waist. Beautiful. Bring it back to center. Lift it on up. Just switch the crossing of your legs. Opposite leg is in front. We'll do a quick twist. So if you are up on a bolster or something, just know that when you bring your hand behind you, the floor is going to feel a little further away. So you can always put it on another pillow, or just know that floor will be a little further from you. All right, so twisting, I'm twisting to my left. You twist whatever direction you're in. Chest nice and high. Right. If you want a little more challenge, engage the core. That means the back. That means the front. Reach your back arm up off of the floor. Maybe reaching it towards the wall behind you. Good. Bring it on back to center. We're going to twist the other direction. Right. So go on the other side. Placing that back hand on the floor or on a prop of some sort. And then just as we did on the first side, if you want a little more challenge, remember you got to engage your core first. Make sure the chest stays nice and high. If your chest drops when you lift your back hand, then you know that you stopped engaging the core a little bit. So that's a way to tell, a little sign. Awesome. Bring it back to center. So we'll do cat-cow here, seated. And then I do want to do spinal balance just so we can get the back going. So Myrna, you just kind of assess how that feels for you, but that's the only thing that we'll do in tabletop, okay? All right, so let's do cat-cow seated like we are. So remember, as you exhale, you're rounding the back, coming into kind of like an angry cat. And then as you inhale, you're arching the back, Maybe looking up to the ceiling if it feels good. Just moving your breath, your pace here. And then just coming into those kind of barrel rolls. So now just rolling the ribs in a circle. You can always feel really good on the back. And then reverse that circle, of course. All right, lovely. So from here, come onto hands and knees, tabletop. And we're just going to do a spinal balance because it's an excellent way to strengthen your back right here. Tons of physical therapists have people do this in their office as well. So you're going to start by taking your right leg behind you, flex your foot. And if you want to, see if you can lift that right leg up in the air. The foot's going to stay flexed. All right, core is engaged, super strong. And the next step is for you to reach your left arm out in front of you. You can also keep your left hand on the floor. And you breathe, you just hold this. If it feels really easy, close your eyes. You'll notice all these little micro movements that are occurring that maybe you're not aware of. And your eyes are open. Good. Bring it back down. We're just going to do that on the other side. So the left leg comes back, flex the foot. See if you can lift that left leg into the air. Foot stays flexed. And then option to reach the arm out in front of you. Think bicep near your ear. And head is just facing down towards the mat. And you breathe. And if it feels easy, close your eyes. Notice those micro movements. Things change a little bit. Perfect. All righty. Bring yourself back down. And then we are making our way all the way up to stand. So again, if you want a little water break, have a little water break. Great. All righty. So let's do just a couple of half sun salutations, get the blood flowing a little bit. And again, for anyone with arm restrictions, instead of reaching the arms up above the head, you can always keep your hands on your hips and just kind of come into your forward fold and then lift back up with arms on the hips. Okay, it's an option for you if you want to take it. All right, inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, come into a forward fold. You're going to let the back round, let the head drop. Maybe take a sigh here. Place your hands onto your legs. Look forward with a nice flat back. And then let that head drop again. Let the back round. And then inhale, bring it all the way back up. Reverse swan dive. Reach the arms high. Exhale, take it to the heart. We're going to do a couple more of those. When you're going down, when you're coming up, right? I want you to think about nice, strong core since we're focused on that today. Even when you do that half back, flat back, Nice strong core. All right, so inhale, reach the arms, hinge from the hips. Keep the back pretty straight. And then let the back round as the head drops. Take a sigh, feels great. Place your hands on your legs, look forward with a nice flat back, right? Maybe your fingertips are just barely touching your legs, so it's actually your core that is keeping your back nice and lifted and straight. And then you're gonna exhale, you're gonna let that head drop again, the back round, and then reverse swan dive. So engage the core, bring yourself back up nice and slow, and then take it to the heart. Good. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, engage the core, keep the back flat so you become parallel. Then let the back round and the head drop. Take a sigh. Lift up with a nice flat back, half lift, right? Maybe you're not even touching your legs, but you're using the torso to keep you nice and lifted. And then exhale, round the back again, drop the head. Maybe got a little bit deeper into this forward fold this time. And then engage the core, reverse swan dive, bring it on up. Exhale, take it to the heart. Perfect. Love it. All right. One more just like that. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. And then you come into that rounded back. Take your last sigh here. Big, deep sigh. Good. Lift up with a flat back. Right? Maybe you're touching your legs. Maybe you're not. The back is nice and flat, ideally. And then exhale, round the back, drop the head again. And then reverse swan dive, reach it on up. And take it to the heart. Very nice. All right, you're going to have your arms down by your sides now. I want you to take your right hand. Well, first, get your stance right. Okay, so make sure you've got that imaginary line. One foot's not in front of the other. Right, press the feet down. Press them down so much you feel your quads and your legs get really strong. Keep that. Okay, tailbone drops down. Think almost of drawing yourself almost to 12 o'clock, right? We don't want to round too much, but almost to 12, a little tuck. Chest comes up, shoulders down. And then you're just going to reach your right fingers down towards your right knee. Okay. Notice if your left shoulder's creeping forward or back. Try to stay in this nice plane. You're in between two panes of glass. Good. Bring yourself slowly back up and then go to the left side. Legs still strong. Draw the left fingertips down towards the knee. Notice if that right shoulder is coming forward or back at all. Just try to keep that nice and level. Slowly bring it back up. So we're doing that one more time each side. Right fingertips draw down. Legs are super strong. Use the side body. Slowly bring yourself back up. Good. One more side. Left fingertips come down. Legs super strong. Use this side body here, right? Not your low back, but use the side body to slowly bring yourself back up. Awesome. Very good. Yes. All right. So feet are going to come nice and wide. We're just going to do a wide leg forward fold with a twist here. All right. So your toes are going to point forward. Feet are like pretty wide. Right? And you're just going to come down. Place your hands on the floor. Let your tailbone lift up. Your right hand stays down. Maybe place it right in the middle underneath your chest. And then you can take your left hand onto your hip here. And maybe you just turn your body to the left a little bit, lifting the left shoulder. Right? If you want more, you can reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Pull the transverse abdominis in. That's that muscle in the low belly. Pull it in. Find length in the torso. Good. Bring yourself back to center. Switch sides. The left hand comes down. Right hand's going to come onto that hip. Maybe you start your twist there. Maybe you want to go a little bit further. Can you reach that right arm up towards the ceiling? Pull the abdominals in. Lengthen the body. Lengthen the torso. Good. Bring it back to center. Bend your knees a little bit. Shift your weight back into your heels. And then just like we were doing in the forward folds with the half sun salutations, use your core to lift you up, not your low back. So the knees have a little micro bend. Take your hands to your hips. Slowly lift back up. You should feel kind of your glutes and your core lifting you up. Beautiful. All right. Bring those feet back in towards one another. We're going to come into our balance. And it's going to be a little bit of what we did on our back, right? Prepped us for this balance. So let's stand on our left foot first. Your hands are going to come to your hips and you're going to bring your right foot in front of you. Your knee's going to be bent. Maybe your toes stay down. Maybe you flex your foot. Maybe you use the muscles of your leg and you bring your knee up a little bit, right? So think of your thigh being parallel to the floor. And then other option, last option is to reach the arms out to the side. Right, so the left leg, very strong right now, probably wiggling and wobbling a little bit. You feel all those tiny, tiny muscles working. Good. See if you can lift your chest a little more, right? So remember what I'm trying to get you to do when I say lift your chest is to engage your back. You press those back muscles forward. Beautiful. Slowly come on out. Very good. Very good. All righty. We're going to do it on the other side. One side's always easier than the other. Remember that. All righty. So find something to look at that's not moving. A lot of times I start on the left side because that's my easier side. All right. So hands on the hips. Go ahead and bend your left knee and keep your left toes on the floor. You can flex your foot. Or maybe you start to lift the knee up. Okay. You lift the knee up, you're thinking thigh kind of parallel to the floor. You can also reach the arms out if you like. Right? These are all options. Good. Lift the chest. Again, that means take the muscles of the back body, push them forward, right, towards the front body. But at the same time, don't let the ribs flare. Looks like everything's hugging in towards the spine. And slowly come out of that. Very good. Wonderful, wonderful. All righty. So feet are going to come just a little bit wide, and I just want to do a couple kind of arm swings, loosen up all the stuff that we worked on today. And you let the back heel lift up. Just a nice little relaxation now. All right. Slowly bring yourself back to center, and we are actually coming down onto your back. So not a whole lot standing up today. I guess we were up there about 13 minutes. Do grab some water if you like. Once you make it to your back, I'll give you time to get there. Your knees are going to be bent. Feet are going to be about hip distance apart. Great. Go ahead and take your arms down by your sides. Okay. You are not actually moving anything with this. Okay. It's called an isometric contraction. Nothing moves. You're going to draw your heels, okay, towards your buttocks, but don't move the heels, right? So you're just feeling this contraction happening in the hamstrings. Right? So it's like you're going to draw your heels towards your buttocks. The heels don't move, nothing moves. You just feel the engagement in the back of the legs. And then release that. We're going to do that one more time. You're just going to draw those heels towards the buttocks. Feel all of this contraction, all this engagement in the back of the legs. Good. And then release that. And then we'll take a couple hip lifts. Okay. So you're going to press those feet down into the floor, press the heels a lot, balls of the feet. Draw yourself towards 12 o'clock with the pelvis, and then start to lift the hips up. And when you are ready to bring them back down, bring them back down. And you'll just do that a few times. So the idea is that you're not in the pelvic position where you're like towards 6 o'clock, where you have this huge bend and arch in the low back. But I want you more towards 12 o'clock. Right? I'm not teaching this as a back bend. If I were, you would be more towards 3 or towards 6, sorry. That would be a wonky back bend if you're more towards 3. Whew. All right, but I'm doing this more as a strengthening, less as a chest stretch. All right, so the next time that you come up, right, so you're at that 12 o'clock, low back is not super arched, stay. And then again, draw your heels like towards your shoulders. And you should feel your glutes engage. You should feel your hamstrings engage. Everything's feeling really strong. And you just hold that for a moment. Take a couple breaths. You might find yourself doing a little shake. It's okay. And then slowly bring yourself all the way back down. We're going to do that again. So just take a breath or two here. All righty. So draw yourself towards that 12 o'clock pelvic tilt. So the low back is long. Press the heels down, press the balls of the feet down, lift yourself up. When you get to where you want to be, stay there. Okay. Draw your tailbone. Think of moving your tailbone towards your knees. Okay. You're going to feel those glutes fire up. And then draw your heels towards your shoulders. So the feet don't actually move, right? But it's like you're going to pull them to reach the shoulders. Tailbone towards the knees, or you can think tailbone towards the ceiling if that visualization works better for you. Make sure you're breathing. You've got it. Beautiful. Bring it all the way back down. Ah, good. And then hug those knees into the chest. That's going to feel really good on those glutes. You can rock it side to side if you want. You can roll it in a circle if you want. Right? If there's anything else that either position you want to do before you come to your Shavasana, do that position. Welcome to it. If your body says it needs anything in particular, give it. Give it to your body. Place the feet down, rock those knees side to side, getting one last little twist. And then making your way into your Shavasana, your final relaxation. Same as in the beginning of class, knees can be bent, legs can be straight, regardless of your leg position. Let your arms rest by your sides with the palms facing up. You'll be here about 7 minutes. So, as you're in this Shavasana, some things that you might pay attention to are once again your breathing, right? The breathing, the breath, it it always brings us back to our center because we're always breathing. And it's very um, unique and individual to each person. You can notice the dominant nostril. I think it's a great way to start. You can notice where you feel the breath at the very end of the exhalation, whether it's the nostrils or the upper lip or wherever you might feel it. But notice that. See if you can bring a little more attention to your exhalation. And when you do exhale and you have the support of the floor underneath you, feel like the back of your body, the skin and the muscles at the back of your body are just spreading, um, almost melting like hot wax. And every time you breathe out, you get a little heavier, you melt a little more, and you let go of any tension that you're feeling. Just let it go. Let it go down into the earth, through the floor. Right. But that release, that letting go, it almost always occurs during an exhalation. You let the breath go, you let the discomfort go. You let the negative mind chatter, you let it go. And you just drop and you get really heavy and really relaxed. And you realize that just feels good. So at this time, if you want to stay and relax, you can do so. I will end the meeting for you. You're coming back and start to wiggle your fingers and toes and roll to your side and let yourself come up to sit in your own time. Thank you for coming to class today. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, peaceful intentions. Namaste.